Aloha and welcome to the joint hearing of the Senate Committees on Government Operations and Labor, Culture, and the Arts. Today is Thursday, March 25th at 3 o'clock p.m. We are in conference room 16 with members of the committees and the public joining remotely via video conference. I'm Sharon Moriwaki, Chair of the Government Operations Committee, and with me is Senator Brian Taniguchi, Chair of the Labor, Culture, and Arts Committee. Members from the GVO committee that are with us is Vice Chair Senator Dela Cruz and Senator Gabbard. Senator Taniguchi,
I think we only have Senator Ihara and myself.
Okay. Before proceeding with the hearing, a few housekeeping announcements. This hearing is being streamed live on YouTube. You can find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on live and on-demand video page of the legislature website. In the unlikely event we encounter major technical difficulties during the hearing and must end it abruptly, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Tuesday, March 30th at 3 o'clock p.m. We will move quickly into two measures we have before us. Senate Concurrent Resolution 114 requests the auditor to study the costs and benefits of the Hawaii Employer Union Health Benefits Trust Fund, or EUTF, and MedQuest Division, relying on a single pharmacy benefits provider. Testifying remotely on Zoom is Derek Mizuno from the Hawaii EUTF.
Good afternoon,
Hi.
Chair Moriwaki, Chair Taniguchi, Vice Chairs Dela Cruz, and Ihara, and the rest of the committees. I'm Derek Mizuno, the ETF Administrator. Just wanted to raise concerns about some of the information in the resolution. We're not quite sure where this is coming from. We don't have one pharmacy provider. We have one pharmacy benefit manager that has a network of pharmacies that they use and that our members can use to get their prescription drugs in network. Almost all of our claims are in-network claims, 99.95%. Over 93% of the pharmacies in Hawaii are in the CVS network. We're not aware of any PBMs or pharmacy benefit managers that are locally based or owned. There are all these national companies like CVS, Express Scripts, and Optum. So I'm not sure, what to do with this and what the problem is. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, we have, I think that's the only person. Do we have anyone else wishing to testify?
They cannot testify because they got to be approved.
Oh, okay. Nobody else? No, okay. Anyone questions of Mr. Mizuno? So what you're saying is that, I have one question. What you're saying is that we do have everybody included. I think one of the testimonies that we saw was that there might be problems in terms of getting the smaller companies, smaller pharmacies to be able to provide services to their communities, especially rural areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the network that CVS has as our PBM is open to all pharmacies that meet licensing requirements. So we do have local independent pharmacies like Molokai Drugs, Rainbow Pharmacy on Lanai, Kamehameha Pharmacy in Kohala. So they can enroll or be part of the network. I think some of the issue relates to the reimbursements, how much the PBM is going to pay the pharmacies when they dispense drugs for our members. I think that is the issue. I don't think the issue so much is access. Our members have access. It's whether they're going to be able to go to some of these independent pharmacies that may not want to be a part of the network because the reimbursement isn't enough. So yeah, you are correct. That is more the issue, not necessarily access for our members.
Thank you. Moving on, we have written testimony from the Office of the Auditor with comments, primarily that this is beyond the purview of the auditor to do such a study. And we have Times Supermarket and Times Pharmacy in support. Any questions, comments? Okay, we will move on to the next resolution, which is SCR 222 and SR 182, urging the LRB to study the best practices for telework and alternative work schedules to be adopted by government executive agencies, businesses, and nonprofit agencies. Testifying remotely on Zoom is the Office of Planning. Do we have someone?
Thank you, Chair. This is Aaron Setogal from the Office of Planning. We stand on our written testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Next up is HGEA in support. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Good afternoon, chairs, vice chairs, members of the committees. Michelle Kurihara Klein on behalf of the Hawaii Government Employees Association, our Executive Director, Randy Pereira. You have our written testimony. We are providing comments and proposed amendments. So unfortunately, we are not in strong support of this measure. I did want to reiterate for both committees the negotiability aspect of telework policies for included bargaining unit employees throughout local government. And I wanted to also update the committees to let them know that HGEA is actively seeking conversation with DHERD as well as all of the county and various jurisdictions to address telework policies and some of the concerns that have been raised throughout this session regarding various other bills that were introduced. If the committees feel compelled to push this resolution forward with the study, we do have some suggested amendments, 6 in fact. First and foremost, we would really want the legislature to assert that any study that is produced by LRB will be shared with and is not a mandate to adopt or a mandate to implement, because out of respect for the negotiability aspect. We have several more technical requests contained in our testimony. And lastly, I just want to point out the last request that we have, which is if this study is to truly impact the private sector and nonprofit sector, it would benefit the legislature, it would behoove the legislature to send this report or send this reso to other entities outside of just government departments. So we did come up with a generic list for your consideration to include the Hawaii Employers Council, the Chamber of Commerce, SHRM, the Alliance of Nonprofit Organizations, as well as maybe also all nonprofit organizations who have sought grant and aid from the legislature, so that the intent is reflected accurately and clearly that it is this study is to impact all employees throughout the state. So I would be happy to answer any questions about HGEA's position or any of the proposed amendments that we have outlined in our testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Any questions of the testifiers that we have here with us? Members? Well, I do. Office of Planning, Aaron, are you still there?
Yes, Chair.
Hi. Yes, I note that your testimony says that you have a study ongoing, is that right, with the county as well as DHERD on just this issue? Is that correct?
Yes, Chair. The study has already been begun. There's a consultant team that's what they'll be working with the city and the state workers to survey state and city workers on Oahu on their current teleworking experience. The contract is also for the consultant to review best practices in other jurisdictions, come up with recommendations to update city and state teleworking policies. And we expect the study to be completed in the fall.
So basically, what I hear, what the Office of Planning is doing with the city is that you actually are doing the study that's being requested of LRB in SCR 222. Is that correct?
Well, it wasn't. I'm not. Yeah, the extent of the scope of the study with LRB, I'm not exactly sure how much of it dovetails with what, but essentially, we're looking at surveying the actual experiences of people that are currently working. We think that that kind of data is very valuable to capture, especially since it's fresh in people's minds. And then in that context, the consultant will be looking at best practices. So to the extent that they're looking at best practices in other jurisdictions, it is the same.
And you are
Yeah.
looking at other jurisdictions and what they do in terms of telework options, and can bring that to bear on what we do here in the state.
Yes, Chair, that's the intent.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions, members? Okay, thank you, Aaron. We also
You're
have
welcome.
testimony written from LRB, comments from LRB, again, talking about this Work Where You Live project that's underway. The Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii in support, Ma'i Movement Hawaii in support, and Freed, an individual, in support. I think that is all we have on testimony on this measure. At this time, we'll take a short recess then and return for decision making on these measures. We are reconvening the 3 p.m. hearing of the joint hearing of the Committees of Government Operations, Labor, Culture, and the Arts. This decision-making is on SCR 114, requesting the auditors to study the costs and benefits of the EUTF, relying on a single pharmacy benefits provider. Based on the auditor's testimony and what we heard from the EUTF, both it's not in the purview of the auditor, so chairs recommend that we defer this measure indefinitely. Chair votes aye. Senator Dela Cruz. Oh, where is
No,
it?
you don't vote.
Oh, no, you
Defer
don't vote.
doesn't
Okay,
need
so
vote.
I stand corrected, we don't vote. Okay, I keep forgetting.
Darn.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to tell your staff to break that down.
Okay, moving on. SCR 222, SR 182. Urging the LRB to study the best practices for telework and alternative work schedules to be adopted by government executive agencies, businesses, and nonprofit agencies. Based on the testimonies from LRB and the Office of Planning that they do have a study already underway, the chairs recommend the measure be deferred indefinitely.
Very good.
Okay, this concludes our business today. Thank you all for participating. Adjourned. Aloha and welcome to the joint hearing of the Senate Committees on Government Operations and Water and Land. Today is Thursday, March 25th. It's 3:15 or so p.m. We are in conference room 16 with members of the committees of the public joining remotely via video conference. I'm Sharon Moriwaki, Chair of the Government Operations Committee, and joining me are members Senator Dela Cruz, and that's all I see right now. Oh, and Senator Mike Gabbard. Okay. And so also with me is Chair Lorraine Inoue, the Chair of the Water Land Committee. Chair, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Chair. For the Committee on Water and Land, I have 2 of my 5 members, and I'm so happy I may have a quorum, Madam Chair, so we have to
great.
make sure we have a good resolution. Joining us as my pro tem Vice Chair today, Senator Misalucha, and Senator Revere is here on Zoom land. We have 2 members Senators Agaran and Favela are excused today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We are testifying remotely, and we are moving along here. This one resolution we have before us is SCR 162, Senate Resolution 127, requesting each executive department identify department facilities that may be vulnerable to sea level rise and assess options for mitigation. Testifying remotely on Zoom is the comptroller. Is anyone here from DAGS? Okay, we have support with comments.
Hello, Chair.
Chris, hi Chris. Chris
Hi.
Kinimaka is here, Public Works Division Administrator. Hi Chris.
Hi, aloha chairs, vice chairs, and members of both committees. Chris Kinimaka, Public Works Administrator, on behalf of DAG's Comptroller Kurt Otaguro, and we stand on our written testimony submitted in support with comments, and I'm available to answer any questions. Mahalo.
Thank you, Chris. Next, we have the Office of Planning. We have Mary Alice Evans, Director. Aloha.
Good afternoon, chairs and members of the committees.
Oh my gosh.
The Office of Planning stands on its testimony.
Yeah, I gotta
supporting
go.
the intent with
But
comments.
you cannot, okay. I have to vote first.
Okay. So we have Department of Education. See Randall. Randall.
be up there in a few minutes.
Good afternoon, Chair Moriwaki, Vice Chair De La Cruz, Chair Inouye, and Vice Chair Agaran.
Good
We have
afternoon.
presented testimony. Thank you very much for your time. I also like to let you know that we have a GPS system that we can overlay maps of all the inundation areas for all our schools statewide. So we are willing to share and let that information to our associates and our partner departments. It is quite a useful tool. We can also overlay property lines and all of the above. So we are ready to do what you need to do. Aloha.
Thank you. And you're willing to offer that to all other state agencies, is that right?
That is right. That is all our taxpayers' money. So we can share that with you and show you how we did it.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's all that we have on Zoom. I do want to ask Mary Alice Evans to come back on. I have some questions.
Yes, Chair.
Hi. Yes, you know, the DAG's testimony says that you know, having this resolution requests all executive departments to go ahead and develop some kind of assessment of their facilities and also options for mitigation. And he suggests that we have one coordinating body that can help them in doing this. And I just wondered whether Office of Planning, since that is one of your mandates to coordinate, whether you are open to being that one coordinator.
The Office of Planning can coordinate for the executive branch this effort. So yes, that is a possibility, and we're open to it.
So you are open to coordinating all the executive agencies that have facilities and be able to assess their the impacts of sea level rise on them and some options for mitigating. Very good. And I have one more question then, if you're willing to do that. If you look on page 3, it's one of the resolved provisions that says each department is requested to submit a report to the governor, the legislature, the Hawaii Climate Commission, no later than 20 days prior to the convening of each regular session. Would that be something you'd be able to do in coordinating with the departments, or how might that work? Since you're gonna, if you're accepting the offer to do this.
I think this is something that the legislature should get an annual update on. I would say it's a long-term effort because each department has different types of facilities. They will be impacted at different timescales. And while mitigation is something we should be doing immediately and urgently, adaptation is something that is going to take place over decades, possibly centuries. And the conditions will be changing. So it is something that I don't expect that it'll be one and done. So I think that it's appropriate to keep the legislature informed on the executive branch's efforts in this regard.
Would you be able to submit some kind of status report at the end of this year or at the end of next year, or something that's reasonable so we know how is it going, rather than just kind of waiting till whether...
I would respectfully ask that our first status report be prior to the 2023 legislative session, because this is a very big effort. I'm really pleased that Randy Tanaka has moved us forward dramatically. But I think it's still going to take, and I would say that other executive departments already have started this process. Highways is a very good example of that. But I think given the scale of the effort, I would ask for the first report to be due 20 days prior to the 2023 session, if the legislature is so inclined.
Even with the GPS technology that DOE will give you to use. Okay, thank you.
I have a comment to make.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mary Alice. I was going to ask the question with regards to DOT, in particular highways, but I think it also affects harbors as well. Regarding perhaps if we add, instead of identifying departmental facilities, shall we include infrastructure? Because when it pertains to highways and harbors, we're looking more at the infrastructure. And I think it's more like I think they fall in the mitigation effort, because they've started, I know highways has started already. So add the word, Chair, departmental facilities, perhaps, and infrastructures.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Mary Alice?
Yes, it does, Senator.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we have it in.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions, members? Okay, then this is the only measure before us. I will, let's see, we have some written testimony also from DLNR, Climate Change Commission in support, Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii in support, and the Hawaii Ocean and Reef Coalition in support. So at this time, unless members have any concerns, questions, I'm going to move us into decision-making and have a recess, a short recess.
I think,
You can
Chair,
just go.
because both of us have to leave now, they need us in another hearing. I agree to whatever, you recommend.
Okay, all right. So, all right, then we're going to move right into decision-making. The chair recommends that we, based on the testimonies that we have from DAGS and from Office of Planning, to have the Office of Planning as the coordinator and requesting that they coordinate with the various facilities, the departments that have facilities and or infrastructure, and go ahead and provide us a report before the 2023 legislative session.
Okay.
And I think that's it. And then amending the title to so reflect. Any questions, members? Okay. Chair votes aye on that recommendation. Vice Chair Dela Cruz? SCR 2222.
Sorry. Can you repeat that?
Okay. We're passing with amendments SCR 222, SR 182, requesting the Office of Planning to coordinate with the executive departments under department facility vulnerability, sea level rise, and options.
It's the bill.
Yeah, that's 162 and SR 127. I
SR
thought.
1.
Second water and land agenda. 162, 127.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay. It's SCR 162, SR 127.
Okay, recommendation is to pass,
Pass with amendments.
pass what?
Pass with amendments.
Okay. Okay, SR 127, SCR 162, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair Moriwaki,
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Chang. Senator
Excuse.
Gabbard.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Excused.
Senator Chang, Senator Favela, excused. Okay, recommendation adopted.
Thank you. The Committee on Water and Land, same recommendation to pass SCR 162, SR 127 with amendments. Any discussion? Hearing none, Senator Misalucha for the vote. Chair goes aye.
Chair recommends pass with amendment SCR 162/SR 127. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Agaran is excused. Senator Misalucha votes aye. Senator Riviere.
Aye.
Senator Favela is excused. You have 3 ayes. Your motion is adopted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No other
Yep,
business. Thank you, everyone.
you,
This
Chair.
meeting is
Thank
adjourned.
you.